welcome back, my poets, to Poetry 101. Let's get into it. Bring out your bat and your ball and glove, slip on your hat, embrace what you love. Bring out the ump and get ready for fun. Let go of your slump. Look, a home run. We are talking about acrostic poetry, so if you look at this poem over here, you will notice that the first line of each sentence spells out words. It's two words technically because it's in two, there's a space in the middle between stanzas. It says baseball, which is what the poem's about. If you look at the cover image, if I go with the cover image I thought I was going with, that will also be the case for that one. That is not the case for every acrostic poem, meaning there's not like always the thing you're talking about is the title, but it is pretty common. I have a poem called Acrostic Wannabe. You can find it in my book, The In-Between, available on lulu.com. Self-plug, you gotta do that sometimes. And that's kind of what it is I'm talking about this thing, but kind of being vague about it. But if you read what the acrostic is actually saying, it tells you a little bit more. And it doesn't tell you the whole story, because I don't like naming names. I'm too big of a coward for that. That is the basics of acrostic. It is literally the first letter of every word, for each sentence, of the first word of each sentence, spells out a word, or two words in some cases. It is not a lot of rules, so there's not a whole lot for me to explain on this front. It is basically just the framework for the poem. So you're gonna typically start by writing out, okay, baseball, space bar in between, so it's two stanzas. Each one of those happens to have four sentences in the stanza, so it works out for that. Not all of them are going to be like that. There's not always going to be rhymes for an acrostic poem. The rule of the acrostic poem is that it's the first letter of the first word of each sentence spells out something. It's not this big thing where it has to rhyme. Now, the poems I've chosen to read in this video do rhyme, because people think poems, they typically think rhyming. That's just people are basic. And by people I mean me. I'm basic. I like my poems to rhyme. So here's a fun example, one that you may or may not have seen floating around the internet somewhere. I'll read it to you. Just met a guy. OMG, he was so fit. Handsome, even. Never will I meet another like him. Caring, emotional, nice. And his name is the first letter of each line. John Cena. When I think acrostic poetry, I always think the John Cena poem. And why would I not? That's iconic. Who wrote that? Love that for them. That is the basics of acrostic poetry. I'm now going to talk about myself for a minute. Sorry. I'm a poet. I have written 3 poetry books, one of which tells a story, and the other 2 are just poems I've written about my life. They are available on lulu.com. If you don't want to buy them, that's okay. I have them for free over on my Instagram, where you can read all my poems. I'm currently writing Greek mythology inspired poems. I'm eventually going to do a collection of those, so you can learn about all of that. If you want to see more from this series, they are here. You can subscribe here, follow me here, and I will stop talking now.